revealed how one incredible photo shattered her 36-year marriage, an unexpected transformation. Emily had always believed that love was forged from sacrifices. 36 years of marriage to Tom had taught her that much. Life together was a tapestry woven with hard work, family dinners, and whispers of dreams drowned in the noise of daily responsibilities. But now, as she rifled through the boxes of forgotten memories on a lazy Sunday afternoon, a particular photograph caught her eye. It was a faded snapshot from her youth, vibrant and full of promise. Emily stared at her younger self, full of life, with dreams that seemed to radiate from her. Tears stung her eyes as she wondered where that spirited woman had gone. The embers of those passions had long been smothered beneath the weight of caregiving and compliance. Something inside her stirred fiercely. The ache of years spent in quiet resignation began to unravel, pushing her to embrace the passion she once had for photography, an art she had long shelved away. The next day, Emily dove headfirst into her new obsession, armed with an old camera that had been collecting dust. With every click of the shutter, joy seeped into her veins. She captured the sunrise spilling its golden light over the neighborhood, the joyful laughter of children playing, and even the solitude of an autumn sunset. But at home, Tom didn't share her excitement. He was a devoted yet emotionally distant man, buried under the burden of spreadsheets and endless calculations. As his wife thrived, he felt an unfamiliar sense of dread. Instead of supporting her, Tom reacted to Emily's new passion with irritation, as if her joy was an unwanted intruder. Heated arguments erupted over dinner, silence filling the spaces where laughter once lived. Emily yearned for connection. She wanted Tom to see her, not just the domesticity that defined her, but the spark of creativity that was finally rekindling. One evening, at the local festival, Emily snapped a picture that would change everything. Her lens captured a poignant moment, a family struggling yet holding on to each other amidst the chaos of the fair. A sense of profound resilience radiated from the image. When Emily posted it online, she was shocked when it went viral, striking a sympathetic chord with many who recognized the harsh realities echoing in their own lives. Suddenly, people were rallying around her work, echoing sentiments of solidarity. But as she soaked in the triumph, it was Tom's reaction that stung the most. He couldn't escape the panic that clawed at him. What did this mean for their future? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Later that night, the air thickened with tension as Emily confronted Tom. Over a dinner table strewn with memories, she dared to express her feelings of isolation and desire for growth, explaining how their marriage had stagnated, mirroring the divides in society. Yet Tom's defensiveness flared, insisting on the pressures from his job and family expectations as reasons he could not support her. Their words clashed violently, detonating long-buried resentments. Just when it seemed their whole relationship might shatter, something shifted in the air. Tom's eyes softened, and for the first time, the echo of his own unfulfilled dreams crackled to life, igniting a critical juncture in their lives. In the fading light of their conversation, he found himself paralyzed, staring at the woman before him, the woman he thought he knew, but realized was finding her own path away from him. As Emily's art flourished, would their love be strong enough to weather this storm of change? Would he be willing to join her on this newfound journey? The stakes had never been higher, and as they stood on the precipice of transformation, the question lingered. Would they rediscover the connection they once had, or would their love be lost amidst the chaos? The days that followed were a blend of excitement and profound uncertainty. Emily woke up each morning feeling the promise of possibility radiating from within her, while Tom drifted in and out of the house, caught in the whirlpool of his own thoughts. Their conversations grew limited to the mundane. Breakfast, groceries, plans for the weekend. Meaningful exchanges had become a rarity, reduced to the logistics that had once been their life's rhythm. With each photographic venture, Emily felt herself opening up. She sought wildflowers in abandoned fields, searched for hidden alley murals, and spent hours poring over the photographs she had taken. Each image resonated with a piece of herself that had gone quiet long ago. Upon reviewing her favorites one night, the glow of her computer screen illuminated her face with fresh joy.
The reactions to her posts were effusive, fans commenting on her eye for beauty where they had seen only drudgery. Instead of reveling in the shared excitement, Tom frowned from the couch, a furrow marring his brow. "Are you really going to keep sharing all this?" he finally asked one evening, his voice carrying an edge. "It's just a lot of trivial stuff, Emily. When will you get back to reality?" He shook his head, a storm brewing behind his eyes.
"Because it feels overwhelming. We've built a life here, Emily. Can't we just focus on the real things?" A silence fell between them, heavy and suffocating. Emily closed her eyes for a moment, gathering her resolve. She wanted to reach out, to bridge the widening gap, but fear gnawed at her insides. Did she risk everything she had rekindled for a fight that seemed to have no end? Opening her eyes, she saw Tom lost in thought, his hands clenched on his knees, as if bracing himself against a wave. The next day, seeking refuge in her photography, Emily wandered into a new town and found herself at a bustling farmer's market. The sights, the smells, the scruffy puppies prancing around made her heart swell. She snapped away, capturing the laughter of children, the radiant produce, the warmth of a community enjoying the simple pleasures of life. As she processed photos later that evening, a thought struck her. What if she shared not just her view, but also her story? Beneath each snapshot was an invitation, a glimpse into her journey of transformation. With a newfound fire, Emily crafted a heartfelt post about finding her voice again after years of silence. She wrote about the struggles of nurturing dreams in the shadow of expectations, hoping her own honesty would resonate more than just her artistic vision. As she hovered over the post button, dread danced in her stomach. What if Tom scoffed again? What if he didn't understand? But with a deep breath, she hit send. Within moments, the likes and comments poured in. Most encouraged her, some shared their own stories of yearning. Just as she began to feel buoyed by the support, Tom's face appeared in the doorway. "What did you do?" His tone was sharp, a mixture of alarm and something else she couldn't quite place. "There's a chance to connect," Emily said breathlessly, "to help people." Tom sighed, dragging a hand through his hair, frustration radiating off him. "You think you can just change everything? You think this will fix us?" The question hung heavily in the air. Emily felt her chest tighten. Was she trying to fix anything? Or was she just trying to find her core again, regardless of the chaos? "I don't know," she whispered. Tom crossed his arms, and for a fleeting moment, vulnerability flickered across his expression. "I need you to help me understand. I don't want to lose you to this new life." As they stood on the brink, hearts raw and exposed, Emily realized both their worlds were shifting, and they were left to navigate the tumultuous waters together. Could they build a stronger foundation from the cracks, or was the distance between them too great? Just then, the ping of the notifications on her phone broke the silence, calling them back to reality. But in that moment, something teetered on the edge of connection. Would it be the bridge they needed, or the final break? Emily glanced at her phone, heart thudding in her chest.
The notifications felt like a tide, rolling in one after another, reminding her of the world outside this fragile moment with Tom. Would it drown them, or save them? Tom's brow furrowed deeper, and his arms remained crossed defiantly. Are these people really worth all this? He motioned toward her phone, disbelief lining his voice. Are they more important than what we have? "They're not more important," Emily replied softly. "But maybe they're part of the journey for me." She took a step closer, desperate to bridge that growing chasm. "I'm just trying to express myself, Tom. I need this." "But at what cost?" he fired back, his voice raising slightly as frustration bubbled over. "You're sharing pieces of you with strangers, while I'm right here." A wave of vulnerability crashed over her. "You don't understand," she said, her voice trembling. "This isn't just sharing, it's rediscovery. I'm finding parts of myself I thought were lost forever, and I want you with me, but I need to do this too." Tom stood silent, processing her words. Emily could see the war waging behind his eyes, a battle between love and fear. Yet as the silence lingered, she felt her heart race, teetering on a precipice of despair. Was it worth risking their relationship for this newfound passion? "How can I support you if I don't understand where this is leading?" he finally spoke, voice softer, almost pleading. Emily took a deep breath, fingers trembling as she picked up her phone and scrolled back to the post she had just shared. "Let's read some of these comments together," she suggested, hoping for a glimmer of understanding.
As she read the encouragement from her online friends, the warmth of their words enveloped her. Look at this one. She says she felt invisible until she began following her own dreams. She glanced at Tom, hoping he was hearing the connection forming in those words. Tom leaned in slightly, intrigued despite himself. What does she mean by invisible? It means sometimes we lose sight of who we are, and it takes something to bring us back, Emily explained, feeling the thread of understanding pulling taut between them. Maybe I've been invisible too. The weight of her truth hung in the air. Tom's eyes softened, and for the first time in days, she saw the flicker of something like hope. Maybe we both have, he replied, the tension in his shoulders easing. I've been so caught up in the routine, in the real life we built, that I forgot what brought us both joy. Emily stepped closer, emboldened by the shift in the air. What if we found that joy together? Maybe my photography can inspire you to explore too. We could face life as a team again. I want that, Tom said, his voice breaking slightly as he opened his arms for a hug. She melted into him, feeling the warmth of his embrace. It felt like a small but significant bridge being erected amid the chaos.
But as she stood there, wrapped in the warmth of Tom's arms, a nagging voice in the back of her mind whispered doubts. The notifications continued to ping on her phone, echoing the excitement outside, reminding her that they were not alone in this struggle, and that sometimes finding one's voice meant facing uncomfortable truths. Emily pulled back, looking deep into Tom's eyes. Can we be honest about what's at stake for both of us? Tom nodded, a seriousness settling between them. Let's try, but it's going to take work. Are you ready for that? She asked, searching his eyes, knowing they were both on unsteady ground. Ready as I'll ever be, he replied, giving her a slight smile that sparked a flicker of hope once more. Just as the mood shifted, the phone buzzed violently, drawing their attention like a siren. With trembling fingers, Emily looked at the screen, her eyes widening at the latest comment, an unforeseen revelation unfolding, something that could change everything. What is it? Tom asked apprehensively, stepping closer. Emily's heart raced, realization creeping in. It's someone I didn't expect. They mentioned knowing at exactly what moment I fell back in love with photography. Tom frowned, confusion dancing across his features. What do you mean? Though her mind spun with possibilities, Emily knew she needed to share this. Could this conversation bring them closer, or would it reveal more fractures? It's deep, Tom. I think this person knows something about us I didn't expect, something we need to confront together. The air thickened with anticipation as they both felt the weight of what was to come. Emily's fingers hovered over the phone screen, the notifications blurring in her focus as her heart thrummed wildly. They said they know when I fell in love with photography again, she repeated, her voice tinged with both disbelief and fear. Tom leaned in closer, his confusion deepening into concern. What do they mean? How could they know something like that? I shared a photo a few weeks ago, the one of the sunset by the lake. It's the first picture I took after months of feeling lost. They said they could feel my passion shining through it. It's like they were looking right into my soul. Do you think, Tom started, his voice wavering slightly, that this person could see how you've been feeling about us? Emily swallowed hard, the weight of his question pressing down on her. I think they sensed that I was struggling to reconnect with myself, and maybe that affected everything, including you. Tom crossed his arms again, but this time he appeared thoughtful rather than defensive. You mean to say they pinpointed a moment in our lives? That's intense. Yeah, she said, her own voice shaking. But it's also freeing. It means I'm not alone in this, that other people might understand the depths of what I'm feeling. It feels like this whole journey is shared, you know? And what about me?
His voice cracked slightly, as if he was fighting against the tide of his own emotions. Where do I fit into their story, or even our story? Tom, you're part of my rediscovery, she asserted, feeling fire reignite within her. I want us together, but pushing me away isn't going to help. Maybe we can learn from this person. They might have insights that can help us. He sighed, his brow furrowed deeper again, but the walls he had built around himself seemed to be softening. Okay, let's see what they wrote. Maybe that could help us talk about this. As Emily scrolled back to the comment, she felt a rush of vulnerability. Her finger paused over the screen, instinctively afraid to dive deeper. It's more than just a photo, Tom. It's about the journey, the feelings of being lost, the joy of finding your way back.
What if they know about our struggles? About you? Let them have their say, he sighed. If this person can shed light on what we've been struggling with, I'm open to listening. With a deep breath, she read the message aloud. I remember seeing her picture and feeling pure joy radiating from it. It felt like she was finally stepping into her truth again, and in that light, I could feel something transformative and beautiful. It reminded me of how important it is to stay true to ourselves. As she spoke, Tom's gaze darkened, shifting between disbelief and intrigue. That sounds profound, he murmured, but it also sounds like we've lost some part of our truth in all this. How can we find our way back? Maybe that's what we need to figure out together, Emily replied, her insights nodding with conflicting emotions. I don't have all the answers, but I want to explore. I want to keep this conversation open. He nodded slowly, a flicker of determination crossing his features. All right, let's reach out to this person. Let's see what they're willing to share. It's a starting point. Emily felt an unexpected boost of energy shift through her as Tom spoke. Exactly. Maybe it could open doors for both of us. Just then, another notification pinged loudly, echoing throughout the silence that had settled like a blanket. They both jolted, unsure if it was a newfound spark of hope or an impending storm. What if it blows up in our faces? Tom asked, a breathless doubt lingering in his tone. But what if it leads us to a revelation we've been missing? Emily countered, her heart racing. Tom looked down, contemplating her words. I guess it could go either way. As they both stared at her phone, a strange tension crackled between them. The question hung in the air, and as Emily took a deep breath, anticipation swirled in her chest. Would reaching out to a stranger really help them heal the fractures in their marriage? Should we look? She asked, her pulse quickening with both fear and excitement. Let's see what's next, Tom replied, mirroring her enthusiasm.
And as the seconds ticked by, the screen glowed brighter, revealing the potential for change. Where would this lead them? Could this be the moment that defined everything? Emily's heart raced as she took another deep breath. The screen blinked, waiting for her to make a decision. Each second felt like an eternity. It was just a message from a stranger, yet it felt monumental. Okay, here goes nothing, she whispered, barely able to hear her own voice. She tapped the notification, and the message opened up, revealing a long text. Hi, Emily. I was really moved by your sunset photo. You can't imagine how much joy it brought me. When I look at it, I feel like I can sense a journey in every shade of orange and purple. You're on the verge of something amazing, and it's okay to be a little scared. It's where honesty and creativity start to blend. Also, don't forget to reach out for help when you need it. We can't do this alone. Emily read it again, slowly, taking each sentence in. It was as though this stranger had plucked thoughts from her mind and laid them bare on the screen. Wow, they really get it, she mumbled, her eyes glistening. Tom leaned closer, his brow furrowed. What else does it say? She continued to scroll, her fingers trembling just a little. They went through something similar, Emily read. Sometimes the hardest part of the journey is admitting you need support. If you want to talk about it, I'm here. I'm not a professional, but I've been in those dark places where love feels distant. Sending light your way. Tom inhaled sharply, his gaze shifting from the phone to Emily. This person isn't just talking about photography. They're talking about us. Exactly, she answered softly. It's about more than just a picture. It's a thread connecting us all, and they see it. Tom appeared deep in thought, running a hand through his hair. Do you think we could reach out to them to understand their story? Emily nodded slowly. I think it might help. They know what it's like to feel lost. Maybe they can offer us some of the insight we desperately need. Tom's expression shifted, uncertainty etched all over his face. But what if this leads us down a deeper rabbit hole? What if they aren't who we think they are? Then we'll find out together, she reassured him, hands now trembling slightly at the shoulders. Going deeper might be exactly what we need. I know it feels risky, but I also feel a spark of hope. Doesn't that count for something? As silence enveloped them, the reality of reaching out lingered in the air. Each felt the gravity of their choice. How could a stranger's words affect their path? Would this lead them to a brighter horizon? Let's take the leap, Tom finally said, a hint of determination in his voice, mingling with the lingering doubt. I want to try. Emily reached for her phone again,
excitement mingling with nervousness.
"Okay, here goes," she said with a smile, pulling up a message to the stranger who had unknowingly offered a lifeline. Just as she began typing, her thumbs hovering over the keys, her phone buzzed again. Another notification. They both froze, eyes wide. Tom bit his lip, sensing the shift in the moment, tension rebounding between them once more. "What now?" he asked anxiously. Emily glanced at the screen, her heart thudding. "It's from them again," she noted, her voice quaking slightly. They wrote back. What did they say? Tom leaned in closer, eyes sparkling with both concern and curiosity. Emily opened the message, breath catching in her throat. The words unfolded like petals from a flower, revealing more than just insight, but a glimmer of hope that could transform everything. What could the stranger possibly know about the inner workings of their marriage? Would this lead them to perhaps the answers they never dared to seek? The words appeared on the screen, surprisingly familiar yet jarring all at once. "I can't speak for everyone, but I've found that it's those very moments of uncertainty, when the world feels heavy, that often lead to the most profound changes. It's when we confront our deepest fears that we truly discover ourselves." Emily felt a lump rise in her throat. Each line echoed sentiments she had hidden deep within her. "This person? They're speaking directly to us," she whispered, feeling a wave of vulnerability crash over her. The stranger's insights bared an almost unsettling accuracy in navigating the shadows of her heart. Tom leaned in even closer, his brush brushing against her ear. "It's like they're drawing a map right to the places we're scared to venture." In the pit of her stomach, a mix of excitement and dread churned. "They know," she murmured, her voice catching. "They understand the weight of it." The next line of the message pierced through the tension. "If you want to rebuild, talk to me. Isolation can feel safe, but it's in connection where healing happens. I'm here, completely unguarded, ready to listen." Emily's heart raced. There was an invitation, a chance to reveal the cracks in their lives. This stranger offered a portal to liberation, but would it expose them too? Could their truths withstand light? "I don't know," Tom interjected, running his fingers through his hair again, a gesture she had come to know all too well, signaling his inner turmoil. "What if this just complicates everything? We already have enough on our plate." "We'll know more if we engage," Emily insisted, her pulse thrumming. "This isn't just some random person. They're offering an opportunity. What if they hold the key to something we've been too afraid to unlock?" Tom's brow furrowed deeper. There's so much at stake. What if they end up being the wrong person? What if they don't help but just take us further apart? Or they might bring us back together, she countered gently. "This could be our lifeline, Tom." "Maybe all we need is a little light from someone who's been through the dark." A silence fell between them, thick with tension and uncertainty. Tom surveyed her, the way her eyes glimmered with hope, battling their usual dimness. "Okay," he finally agreed, the resolution creeping into his voice. "Let's do it. Let's reach out." Emily blinked at him, a swell of emotions bubbling up. "Really? You mean it?" "Yeah, I mean, what do we have to lose at this point?" With that, she turned back to her phone, fingers trembling slightly as she typed her response. "We're in this together," she told him quietly, though uncertain herself if the weight of what they were about to embark on could bind them or break them. She hit send and watched, a fluttering mix of fear and anticipation settling in the air between them. The feeling of stepping into the unknown surged in her chest, the thrill laced with apprehension. Just as Emily pulled her phone down, another beep interrupted their solemn moment. The stranger had replied again, and what they had to say now loomed like an avalanche about to crash. Would this message propel them into a journey of healing, or deepen the rifts that had kept them apart? "Who is this person?" Tom whispered, a hint of dread lacing his voice. Emily took a deep breath, feeling an unsettling cocktail of curiosity and anxiety. "I don't know, but I think we're about to find out." The phone screen lit up again, casting a soft glow on Emily's anxious face. She inhaled sharply, heart racing at the thought of what the stranger might say next. With trembling fingers, she hesitated for just a moment before she read the message aloud. "Hello, Emily and Tom. I appreciate your courage in stepping forward. It takes a lot to be vulnerable." The words felt like a gentle touch, unraveling knots of tension in her chest. "Okay, that sounds okay so far," Tom muttered,
leaning closer as if wanting to absorb the message's weight into himself. Yeah, she whispered back, eyes fixed on the screen, captivated yet cautious. But there's more. Each of us carries stories we're afraid to share. I want to tell you mine, the stranger continued, and Emily felt her breath hitch. I was once where you are, living in shadows, but I found a way out, and maybe I can help you find yours too. Tom furrowed his brow, swallowing hard. It feels intimate, like they're already a part of our lives. Maybe they are, Emily said, a sense of appreciation weaving its way through her worry. It's like they're offering their story as a map for us to follow. You think it's safe? Tom asked, his voice low, searching her gaze. I don't know, but a chance like this doesn't come often, Emily replied, heart pounding with each syllable. Let's see where it leads. She typed back quickly, catching Tom's worried eyes as she confessed. We'd like to hear your story. Her thumb hovered for a moment, then she pressed send.
The reply came almost instantaneously, moving as fast as the flicker of Emily's heart. Great! I'll send you a photo that changed everything for me. Each image tells a story, and this one revealed truths I'd long hidden, truths that ultimately brought clarity. Would you be willing to share your own fears and doubts? They want us to open up, Tom said slowly, the vulnerability in his voice a mirror to what Emily felt. It feels like we're on the edge of a cliff, she murmured, a mixture of excitement and fear dancing in her chest. But maybe that's exactly where transformation happens. One leap can change everything. Are we really ready for this? He asked, searching her eyes. She let her breath out slowly, feeling the weight of the decision. Whatever happens next, I think it will take strength. But together, Tom, we've faced down storms before. I trust us. Tom clasped her hand, the warmth of his touch creating a soft tether in an uncertain moment. They both watched the screen, anticipation thick in the air as they awaited the stranger's next move. Finally, the message arrived. Here's the photo. Emily's heart raced as a JPEG appeared, a simple but striking image of a woman sitting on a bench, bathed in golden light, her face a mix of joy and pain. The lush backdrop seemed like a distant memory, yet it spoke volumes of a journey filled with heartache and rebirth. What do you think it means? Tom asked, his voice barely disguising his intrigue. I think it's about acceptance, seeing yourself even in tough times, Emily replied, staring at the photo as layers of unease began to unravel. There's something deeper here, Tom noted, shifting his gaze back and forth between the photo and Emily's eyes. Can we really face what this is asking us? The question hung in the air, a weighted balloon waiting to burst. Emily could feel it pressing down, an unseen force urging them to confront the difficult reflections staring back at them. Tom leaned closer, his breath mingling with hers. Do we share our truth? All of it? Her heart pounded louder now. Yes, I think we must. Just as Emily was about to type her own message, another notification chimed. Are you prepared for what the truth may reveal? The words sent a shiver down her spine, leaving them both teetering on the brink. Could their truths break them or bring them back together? Emily paused, fear and hope waging battle in her heart. This was it. No turning back now. She glanced at Tom, whose anxious expression mirrored her own. We have to do this, she whispered, knowing full well that the answer could change everything. They were ready to dive into the unknown, but would they emerge stronger or more fractured? And in that moment, Emily knew, the next steps would define not just their future, but their very identities. Emily's fingers hovered over the screen, hesitating as she felt the weight of the moment settle around them like a dense fog. Tom's gaze burned into her, a silent reminder that whatever lay ahead, they needed each other. She forced herself to breathe, steadying the whirlwind inside. Finally, she tapped out her response, words tumbling out like pebbles spilling from a pocket. We are ready. Here are our doubts, the fears we face every day. The little voice in her head quivered, uncertain yet emboldened. After another moment of doubt, she hit send. The light from Tom's phone flared with a new message, bringing the pair back to the edge of their reality. Thank you for your honesty. The path is rarely straightforward, but truth has a power of its own. Emily leaned in closer to Tom, excitement and trepidation crafting a strange bond between them. What does that even mean? She gingerly asked, a whisper of confusion threading through her voice. Tom shrugged. Power to do what? Create pain or heal it? Maybe both, she replied, entwining her fingers with his. We need to brace ourselves for whatever comes next. Knowing doesn't always mean it'll hurt. Let's hope that's true, Tom murmured, his expression examining the boundaries of their shared fears. The screen illuminated again with another message. I'd like to share my story now, but first, let's explore what makes you afraid. Emily, you mentioned fear. What is it? Emily bit her lip, the understanding of her fears flooding her senses. It's being unprepared, shamed, she confessed. It's these expectations that I have to be perfect, put together. If I screw up, it will mean I failed. Tom squeezed her hand tightly, encouraging her to continue. And mine, she continued, words spilling into the void. Losing you. Living alone after so many years. Facing the unknown without the only person I've ever relied upon. And what do you think will happen? Tom asked softly, pushing her to clarify what weight she was willing to carry. I guess I'm afraid of my own doubts. I don't know how to be myself without being your other half. The message chimed again. The strongest bonds form when we're brave enough to step into both light and shadow. Are you willing to explore these shadows? Emily's heart raced at the wording. The shadows. It felt so loaded, ripe with promise and danger. This was their chance to explore a side of their lives they'd kept hidden, like secrets stuffed deep into forgotten drawers. We need to find clarity, Tom concluded, spirit lifting as he faced her. Truth won't break us. It's only the unknown. That's what frightens us, Emily finished. I think we can do this together. Tom nodded, though uncertainty lingered in his eyes. But what if this shapes us into something we're not ready for? She paused, realizing he touched on something profound. That might be exactly what we need. Just then, the phone vibrated, drawing them back to the moment. I'll share an image, but remember, transformation often comes from discomfort. Tom inhaled sharply. What if we don't like what we see? Emily felt warmth surge through her chest, an unexpected flicker of hope. Then we'll navigate it together, just like we always have. The screen lit up once again with an attachment, a preview ready to unfold. The image teased its way into their shared space, while curiosity tripped from their eyes. What truth would this reveal? What transformation lay beneath the surface? Amidst the deepening silence, the tension tightened, an invisible threshold awaiting a leap of faith. As Emily and Tom stared at the screen, they could almost hear their hearts beating in sync, a silent promise that whatever would come, they would face it together. Then came the message from the stranger, another layer of mystery folding in. Are you prepared to see the raw truth that lies before you? With their breaths held tight, they both leaned in closer, the moment heavy with uncertainty. Would this reveal lead to freedom or fracture? The answer hovered in the air, waiting to be unveiled. The photo loaded gradually, framing the space between them with anticipation. Emily's heartbeat quickened. She felt Tom's hand tremble slightly in hers, a shared pulse of worry and intrigue. What do you think it'll be? She asked, barely above a whisper. I have no idea, Tom replied, his voice low and steady, trying to mask the storm brewing within him. But I guess we need to see it, don't we? With a final flicker, the photo emerged on the screen, capturing a moment so simple yet profoundly unsettling. It was an image of a couple laughing during a sunset, arms wrapped around each other, blissfully unaware of the camera. They looked so genuine. Unfettered joy radiated from their faces. Emily blinked, feeling the warmth pulled from her chest. Is that us? The words slipped out before she could catch them, a mix of hope and cringe. Tom's eyes searched the screen, scanning for answers to questions even they had yet to voice. He began, then faltered. We used to look like that, didn't we? Used to, Emily echoed, the weight of reality draping over them. The stranger's message followed soon after. Do you see yourself? Can you still find the joy reflected in the faces of another time, another place? Why does it feel so distant? Tom murmured, his brow knitting into a frown. Maybe it's just been so long since we felt that lightness, Emily replied, her voice trembling. The photo held a mirror to their lives, revealing not just a past, but the heaviness that had crept in over the years. There was laughter, but it had become buried beneath layers of responsibilities, fears, and unspoken tensions. What about the shadows? Tom asked, the uncertainty in his tone rising. No, Emily said firmly, squeezing his hand. We aren't just shadows.
We are more than this. As she spoke, her spirit flared. We can reach for that light again. Tom looked at her, his eyes glimmering with a flicker of hope.
But what if this is hard? What if digging deeper reveals things we're not ready to confront? Then we face them together, one at a time, she replied. We can't hide if we want to grow. It's like gardening, isn't it? You have to clear away the weeds to let the flowers bloom. His smile broke through the clouds momentarily. You always know how to put things into perspective. The stranger's next message arrived like a soft push into a frigid lake. Digging leads to clarity, but also to vulnerability. Are you prepared to meet the version of yourselves that lies beneath the years? They exchanged a glance, a silent conversation passing between them that only deepened the connection. Each knew that the journey ahead was daunting. Navigating through their shadows demanded courage, courage to confront their fears, regrets, and the person they had become. What if we forget how to even begin? Tom asked, concern shifting through his voice. Emily took a deep breath, her heart bolstering her resolve. Then we remember. We remember how to find each other again. We have to try, for both of us. The screen glowed softly, a reminder that the exploration of self was not just about digging into the past, but also about creating a path forward. Do you trust me? She asked, searching his eyes for that shared light. More than anything, he answered, squeezing her hand back with newfound strength. Then let's take our first step, she whispered, determination echoing in her heart. Together, they leaned back into the shadows, ready to explore what lay beneath. But as they braced themselves for the journey ahead, an unread message flashed on the phone, its implications heavy with promise and surprise. What secrets do you think are hidden in the corners of your light? The question lingered, echoing in the silence that followed. Emily and Tom sat together, the air heavy with uncertainty. The stranger's question hung between them, an invitation cloaked in vulnerability. What secrets do you think are hidden in the corners of your light? It pressed upon their hearts, urging them to uncover the truth about themselves and each other. Tom's brow furrowed, his mind racing. I guess I never thought about secrets, just burdens that piled up over the years. His voice was tight, revealing a long-held fear. Emily held his gaze, her heart open. But where's the joy hidden in there? There must be pieces of that laughter, those beautiful moments. We just need to remember how to find them. She felt the warmth of hope blossom within her, tethering them to a promise of renewal. As they leaned closer, a familiar hum filled the air. Tom's phone buzzed again. It's just my work, he said, taking a moment to focus and avoid being distracted. Let's just keep our discussion on this, please. Emily smiled softly, knowing how calls from work often drew Tom's attention when he needed refuge from home. You're doing great at staying present, she added cautiously.
But the sparse silence felt stretched thin. Would they fill it with what was next, or linger too long in what had been? Tom's expression shifted as he contemplated. I am afraid of who I've become. What if the joy I used to feel is lost forever? What if everything I've built collapses? There was raw honesty in his voice, piercing through the trepidation that had crept into their conversations for so long. Shivers felt like electric currents running through Emily's fingers as she interlaced them with his. What if we find what we've been missing together? He looked at her, questioning yet hopeful. Does that mean being honest about everything? Every single thing, Emily replied, feeling lighter. Let's shed those layers. We can expose the cracks, embrace the shadows, if it means we can come back stronger. As if on cue, the stranger sent another message. The most radiant light often flickers through the cracks. Are you both prepared to embrace your shadows? To rekindle what has lain dormant? Tom sighed, his tension easing slightly. You know, it's terrifying. But maybe I want to know what lies beneath all the fear. Emily's breath steadied. It's scary,
but we have each other. Even in shadow, we are still bound by love. Together we can illuminate the dark corners. Suddenly, Tom smiled, a bright ray of hope piercing the heaviness. I miss us, Em. The joy of adventure, spontaneity. I miss laughing. I miss that too. She felt the warmth bloom inside, stoking a fire long thought snuffed out. We can find our way back to that joy. They didn't just disappear, did they? They've been waiting for us. Each word felt like a promise tethered to the past, intertwined with the threads of the future. The next notification chimed, a new message loaded on the screen, and together they read it aloud. Acknowledging your shadows brings powerful revelations. Embrace any tears that may come as you unearth the hidden parts. Let the healing begin. With their hands still clasped tightly, they understood they were standing at the brink of a new chapter. One they would explore together. Let's dig into those shadows, Tom whispered, his voice rich with determination. We can call out the things that haunt us. Let's share those fears. Trust that love will keep us strong. Absolutely, Emily agreed, feeling the surge of courage rush through her bones. This is where transformation happens. With a burst of clarity, Emily began. I fear that I'll fail in expressing the real me, that I'll become invisible again once I open up. Tom squeezed her hand tighter, the weight of shared vulnerability linking their spirits. And I fear being left behind if we can't recover the joy we once had, losing you as you pursue this passion. Tears glimmered in Emily's eyes, no longer shadows of sorrow, but of catharsis. But what if we find more than just joy? What if we discover new paths together? Tom's gaze softened, the breath of understanding washing over him.
Then we walk together, hand in hand, no more holding back. Just as the waves of clarity settled, another notification buzzed. The stranger had replied. Any illumination, you both will find more than you seek, perhaps even new dreams you haven't yet imagined. A spark ignited with Emily, the hint of adventure calling. New dreams, Tom. Can you imagine? Yeah, he whispered, his heart beginning to believe again. I want to. As they opened their hearts to the stranger's message, a flood of compassion washed over the couple. In that moment, Emily knew this was just the beginning. They would not only face their future, but embrace it with open arms and intertwined fingers. Together, light would break through the shadows. And as they leaned deeper into their truth, they felt a rush of warmth cascade over them. Love was not just the question, but the answer guiding their journey. It was time to rise. Now, if you felt inspired by Emily and Tom's journey, you need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support for stories that touch your heart and spark transformation. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help us keep bringing you powerful tales. Comment below to share your thoughts and feelings about the ending. What did this story mean to you? And don't wait, not even one more second. Share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Together, let's spread the light.